Folks, motorsport might finally be getting good, for me anyway. I know for some of you it's been good for a while, and others have sworn it off completely, but I've been in this space since launch of wanting to enjoy my time in it, and simply running into too many issues. Whether it be performance problems, issues with single-player AI, the ranking system in multiplayer, or whatever else. But now, with the 20th anniversary update, it seems like Turn 10 is really starting to address a lot of the major shortcomings I've found up to this point. And of course, sprinkled that in with a healthy dose of fan service that I'm all here for. So let's just dive in and check out the new update for ourselves. Of course, Fujimi Kaido is back. This is the major highlight of the update and is something that should be pretty dang exciting for all of us old motorsport players, but also for the newer fans too. This is a completely different experience compared to what Motorsport 8 has offered up to this point, and they've kinda nailed it. When I first saw that Fujimi would be coming back, I was pretty nervous that they were gonna change it too much. You know, make some tweaks to the elevation or corners, widen the track out in some spots to make it easier, or whatever else. But this is essentially a completely faithful recreation of the original layout, just with a much more gorgeous backdrop. Don't get me wrong, there is some appeal I will always have for that old school billboard trees with baked in sun rays, retro core look, but really, I don't think they could have done this remake any better. Every detail is so authentic, all the foliage looks right, you know, they didn't just take the same trees, shrubs, and grass that you see on the Nürburgring, for example. They went the extra distance to make all the nature look appropriate to the climate, and that extends to the infrastructure as well. All the barrier walls and signage and road markings, it all just feels so authentically Japanese. And they've done it in a way that adds to and reinterprets the original scenery without changing the overall vibe really at all in most places. What you're watching here is quite literally my first lap back on the track since playing in Motorsport 4 a couple years ago, and it's so easy to just fall right back into the flow of the track. It's all familiar, but then I'll see a little pathway off to the side that leads up to a shrine that wasn't there before, or get a break in the trees to see how much more detail there is off in the distance. There's just so much character to the track, and you can really tell they put thought into it. Like, look at this amazing map of the circuit that you can find. Really, they did a phenomenal job with the track, and I'm so excited to see it return in this form because I think it's important for Forza Motorsport to lean into their heritage and history. You know, to compare to Gran Turismo, GT has so many hero cars and iconic tracks, machines or locations that have been with the game for decades, and along with their iconic music and main menu style, it just gives Gran Turismo a certain culture, a very specific and well-cultivated energy that fans can always count on. But on the motorsport side, I feel like they've struggled to do that. They're always trying to reinvent the wheel, or dare I say, build things from the ground up, and leave their history in the past. Just last month, I was talking on my stream about how motorsport so rarely honors their old cover cars in new games. Well, Turn 10 must have been watching that stream because this update brings us the Motorsport 1 cover car. And it's not just that, the Mazda Furai, or Fury, however you want to say it, it's back, too, in a car pack that also includes a new FD S15, a Pantera, and a JZX 100. I mean, seriously, this pack is basically my top 3 cars I want in any racing game. And we're also getting a Toyota Starlet Time Attack car, which is perfect for Fujimi. So right off the bat, they knocked it out of the park for me when it comes to the new track and new cars, but this update also added a whole new feature. Public meetups, finally. So now we can have drift meetups at Fujimi or track days at the Nürburgring, which is fantastic for me because I love that open lobby track day feel. This is one of those things that immediately kind of takes me back to my old days where I could just mess around with a bunch of different cars in a public lobby and maybe meet some people and have some casual races. It just gives me that old school online gaming experience, and I'm all about it. Now with this update, they also gave us a new permanent tour, the 20th anniversary tour. I've criticized how they add these in the past. I don't like FOMO. I want to be able to return to motorsport after an absence and see a bunch of new content for me to play, not see everything I missed out on. So this is a good move in the right direction for that, and I hope they keep doing it. The tour looks pretty cool as well. Like, it'll sort of take us through every motorsport game up to this point. And yeah, that's the proper thing to do for an anniversary update. Again, leaning into their history, I love to see it. They also added new race suits designed after the previous games in the series, and brought back some music from the old games, as well as bringing back Lance Hayes to compose 3 new songs for the game, which was a fantastic idea. I love to see them leaning into that motorsport history, and I hope they keep doing it. Now, in my last video on motorsport, I had a lot to say about the AI. I still just thought they struggled to be competent on track. They were braking randomly in the middle of corners, dive bombing me into corners, and were terrified to get anywhere near me if I passed them. So I just never found the single player AI to be that engaging, but they're addressing that as well. They actually posted a full article just about the AI improvements, and it has some promising concepts in there about how they want the AI to not brake randomly and be better at defending their line or avoiding other cars when the field is packed. And it all sounds good, but even they say they still have a ways to go. It seems like they're kind of at the start of this rework, but this update is a big step forward. With the 20th anniversary update, they say they've made improvements to collision avoidance and side-to-side behavior, especially during race starts. And yeah, it feels pretty noticeable. I don't want to say everything's perfect now by any means. I still noticed a few odd corners and braking spots, but they were minor, and the AI are definitely more competent in a pack than they used to be. The overall experience feels noticeably more polished, predictable, and fast. So definitely a step in the right direction towards making the single player fun and engaging. Speaking of steps in the right direction, they also updated car audio for like half a dozen cars, including the NSX, made some BOP changes for GT and Proto H racing, fixed some steering wheel settings issues, and even though this one's more at the driver level on Nvidia's side, they fixed that issue where the track would just disappear sometimes. This was the reason I stopped playing the game as much. It was just so frustrating to be in the middle of a great race and then suddenly not have a track anymore. The full patch notes of fixes that they've made to the game with this update is seriously impressive, by the way. So, is motorsport finally good? Well, I ended my last video, the 1 year later check-in, by saying that it was headed in the right direction, but still had a long way to go. In that video, I still had issues with the ranking and lobby system, overall performance and visuals, and lack of potential in a lot of areas, like with the career or with the race engineer, for example, that could have been fleshed out a lot more. And even though some of those things have been touched on now, a lot still haven't. I said in that video that I'll keep waiting for motorsport to catch up, but now, for me personally, I think it's finally starting to get there. They've been on the right track for a while, and this is a big step forward. Even though, in my eyes, there are still glaring issues and shortcomings, I finally feel like it's at a place where I can recommend trying it out, or coming back to it if you fell off early on like I did. It might finally be time for me to add motorsport back into my regular racing game rotation, and as a Forza fan that's been there from the beginning, that's a really exciting thought. So who knows, maybe you'll start seeing some more motorsport content on the channel and on my stream in the near future, because at the very least, this update has given me a great reason to give motorsport another chance. Thanks for watching, folks. Of course, let me know what you all think about the update and the recent changes they've been making, and maybe I'll see you out there on the track.